Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my workshop. So as you can see, my workshop is a cluttered mess. I have slowly but surely been coming across all my customers' orders for the Christmas season. If you're watching this in the future, this is obviously past tense. But I just figured I'd bring everybody along with a little bit of my day and share a few thoughts about blacksmithing in general. Now, I'm one to always champion people to take and do their best and to try and to excel at the subject and the craft of blacksmithing, and that's one thing I hope really comes across in the channel. I don't always get back to everybody's comments, and in fact, oftentimes more than not, I haven't been able to get back to people's comments here lately, as I have been a super busy man. But I do want to let all my subscribers know right now that I do appreciate you, and I do read every last one of your comments. And they do mean a lot to me. And I will try to get better at getting back to people as I can. But enough with that, I digress. So, some of what I wanted to talk about today is, my philosophy on blacksmithing as a whole. Now, I had recently seen a video not too long ago that Joey Van Steeg, I think is his name, had put out about quitting blacksmithing or giving up blacksmithing because he did not like the ideal of having to do cutting, welding, grinding, those sort of things, or using the modern processes of blacksmithing, which are very relevant and still make you a blacksmith. But he kind of defined blacksmithing as what he wanted to be was a forger, or someone who just forges steel. Now, that is perfectly okay. That's everybody's personal preference, and this is by no means a dig on Joey. I really respect him for being able to decide to know what's best for him and take the appropriate action that works best for his life right now in this moment in time. But blacksmithing can be so much more using the modern processes that we have nowadays. I have met so-called purists before, and Joey is definitely not a purist by any stretch of the imagination, and he's even pointed this out. But, I have met some purists in the past that, believe that blacksmithing pertains to nothing but hammer and the anvil, and that's just not so. Our forefathers in this trade, called blacksmithing, would have used every modern process known to mankind up until that point, and they did. Oh boy, did they. A lot of times I think in this modern world we forget that blacksmithing started as a trade. It wasn't a craft that people did simply because they enjoyed the craft. It was something that you were born into. It was something that you were a slave to, if you will. If your father was a blacksmith, you were a blacksmith, period. You didn't get the opportunity that we get now where we can choose what we want to be. Whether that's a desk clerk, a blacksmith, a carpenter, a window hanger, a garage door installation specialist, or a guy that flops Whoppers at Burger King. You get to choose what you want to be nowadays. And we oftentimes forget that our forefathers didn't have that same luxury of choice. So, keeping that in mind as a business, it really centered around they needed to do a long, hard day's worth of work, and anything that would have aided in that long, hard day's worth of work would have been considered a traditional technique, and they would have used it. Henceforth, the invention of all the modern machining equipment we have nowadays, drill presses, you name it, anything that cuts, brazes, welds, punches, drills, you name it, metal, forges it, shapes it, bends it. You can thank a blacksmith for this. So blacksmithing is so much more than just a guy standing at an anvil, beating a raw chunk of steel into some shape, rough shape, and then that's it. Blacksmithing can be oh so much more. Thank you all for watching this video. And like I always say, God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one.